Welcome. Today I bring you the preview of the next chapter of The Ambassador's Daughter. Akin arrives at the psychiatric hospital looking for Isabel. Geddes goes to a cell phone store to check why Nair's cell phone doesn't recognize the SIM card, so there he is told that she doesn't have it, so Geddes realizes that Sanjar took it from her. Akin sees Sanjar, so scared he hides and sees Isabel give a book to Sanjar. He reads it and sees that there are underlined parts. Isabel tells him that with Othello's book, Nair taught him Turkish. She says goodbye, so Sanjar complains that she didn't tell him anything. Isabel replies that on the contrary she told him a lot. Sanjar tells her that he needs to know the truth, but Isabel says that what he needs is to find himself and leaves. So Akin chases her trying not to be seen by Sanjar. But Sanjar manages to see him, so he follows him and demands answers about what he did to Nair. But Akin answers that he has not done anything to anyone, so Sanjar hits him yelling at him not to lie and asks him what he did to Nair so that she had to run away from Montenegro. Akin asks him not to believe Nair. Several men stop Sanjar, and Akin tells him that the reason Nair ran away is because she stabbed him when he tried to stop her from going to her wedding. Sanjar replies that Nair didn't know about the wedding. But Akin asks him not to trust Nair. Sanjar lunges at him so he is pinned down. Akin is glad as Sanjar during the argument revealed where Nair is. Kavarak goes to see Nair. She asks about Halise, so Kavarak tells her that she is fine but at the moment she is in intensive care. Geddes goes to the hotel to see Guven and ask him if he has spoken to Sanjar, but Guven replies that he has not given him Akin as he is waiting for Nair's answer and comments that Sanjar called him the night before asking about the hospital where Melik was born. So Geddes is furious and warns him not to answer Sanjar again. Geddes goes to talk to Nair to tell her what Guven said. So she gets worried and asks Melik if he told Sanjar about Isabel. So Melik answers yes. Nair gets distressed and goes to call Isabel. But Geddes tells her that he won't be able to because of Sanjar. Nair tries to calm down, wishing that Sanjar didn't find anything. She asks Geddes for the phone to call but she can't remember Isabel's number, so she starts to despair. Geddes tries to calm her down by encouraging her. She manages to relax with Geddes' help and manages to remember the number, so she calls Isabel. She tells her that Sanjar went to see her and that due to her insistence he told her a little bit of information, but nothing to worry about. Sanjar is arrested and allowed to make a call, so he calls Geddes for help. The next day Sanjar is released and returns to Turkey, so Nair and Geddes receive him. She angrily starts yelling at him for having gone to interrogate Isabel about her. Sanjar tells her that Isabel didn't tell him anything, but Nair continues to be angry with him. Sanjar asks her if it is true that she stabbed Akin. She is surprised, so Sanjar scolds her for doing something so dangerous. Nair changes the subject and tells him that Halise had a heart attack, so he is shocked and runs away. Meanwhile Halise comes out of intensive care. She asks about Sanjar. So Yahya gets upset and tells her that Sanjar disappeared. Halise says that he probably felt guilty for what he did to her. Sanjar arrives at the hospital. Meanwhile Halise asks if anyone has gone to see her, but they tell her no. So she laments and asks if it is because word spread about the trial. Seeing Elvan she becomes furious. Yahya also yells at her. Halise tells Elvan that because of her they found out that she was guilty. Elvan replies that the only guilty one is her, because was the one who did that to Nair. So Halise, offended, throws her out. Elvan leaves sadly. Zara follows her and tries to cheer her up. Sanjar comes to the room, tells Halise that will allow her to return to the house, so Halise asks him if he forgive her, but Sanjar responds no. Halise tells him that she already understand her mistake, but Sanjar responds to recognize her error does not change anything damage that she did. Then Sanjar asks them all how the attack happened to the heart, but Yahya takes him out in the face that he also betrayed Halise. Gulsiye tells Sanjar that Yahya took Halise to the mansion and threw Elvan. So Halise regretted the division in the family and had the heart attack, so Sanjar angrily claims Yahya for throwing Elvan out. Yahya tells him that if he can throw Halise out can he also throw his wife out. Sanjar rages and yells at him for taking it out on Elvan. Yahya yells at him that Elvan betrayed them to defend Nair. So Sanjar reminds him that Halise is guilty and that just Elvan stood up for truth and justice. Yahya replies that no matter Halise is guilty she is still his mother and leaves. Elvan starts crying, so Sanjar hugs her, trying to calm her down. He then instructs Zara to take Halise to the mansion when she is discharged, as even though he has not forgiven her, he cannot leave her at the hotel in that condition, and asks Elvan to go to the mansion too. She fears as Yaya does not want her there, but Sanjar asks her not to worry about that. But Elvan replies that he will not go back to the mansion and that Nair has taken her in her house, so he will live next to her. Sanjar leaves, so Manek follows him to ask him where he will go. He replies that he will go to the house, so she asks him to take her with him. Sanjar tells him that it is better for her to stay there as he will later go to see Melik. Manek asks him to stay with her as Elvan often teases her that he is never at home, and so she is starting to doubt, so she asks him if he is staying with Nair. So he gets upset and leaves after warning her not to hint that again. Geddes takes Nair home. She worriedly comments that she doesn't know how Sanjar found out that she stabbed Akin if Isabel and Guven didn't tell her anything. Geddes tells her that despite that Sanjar doesn't know the reason and that now he's more worried about Halise than that matter. And so we end this preview. Until next time.